we're talking books. So grab a drink. I've got a Americano, and I want to tell you about the 5-star, 5 female authors that I have read this year. Maybe one of them was from last year, but in the last 12 months, because I think they need to be talked about. I think we need to keep pushing female authors forward. And I think I also just happen to be reading female authors and I've loved their works. So I want to chat about them. Apologies for the gammy nails. I should have dealt with those and I apologise, but this is real. So the first book is quite a dark book. And the ironic thing is, dark is in the title. So My Dark Vanessa, a really hard read, to be honest, is probably the best way of describing it, because it is about paedophilia and it's about a teacher. I think he's in his 30s with her and she is 15 it says, and he was her English teacher at a boarding school. And it jumps between present day and when she was 15. So I think present day she is 30, I want to say. And it's like how it's affected her life, what happened. The first part, when there are actual intimate scenes described, was really, really disgusting to read. But she is such a clever author. Like, this was so powerful. And after the intimate scenes, like the emotional manipulation and just how this man essentially ruined her life without her even necessarily being aware of it until kind of towards the end. It's a really powerful read. It's a hard read. I don't think I will ever read this book again. Maybe in my 40s, but I don't see myself reading it anytime soon. However, I've recommended it to multiple people. I've recommended it to like family members, friends, because I think it opens a really important discussion as well. And with the sort of glamification of Lolita, which I'm not even going to open that can of worms, but absolutely disgusting. Anyone who says it's a romance, you need help. This is a really interesting kind of like modern, and Lolita is referenced in this as well. So that there's a lot to unpack here, but I highly recommend this book if you want something that's not light. This next one was like huge on TikTok, and I think I discovered it on TikTok, or it was on 99p deals on Kindle. One of the two, I can't remember. Either or, I Have Never Known Men. This short story, I say short, it's 100 pages, is amazing. It's dystopian, it's questions that don't get answered, it's you keep your humanity in chaos, and there's a lot of questions that you'll ask and you will not get them answered. And I think that is really clever. I think anyone who can do that, where you almost come away with more questions than answers, I love that, because it really makes you think. It makes you wonder and it makes you kind of come up with your own ending, which I think is really cool. I think it's a really clever thing to be able to do. And it's a short book. I read it in one sitting. You could read it in a day. It's a great book you could take on holiday with you. You could read it whilst commuting, or maybe just an evening where you want to cozy up in a chair. I think this one is really good. It's translated. She's from Belgium, and it was translated. She wrote it in, I don't actually know, but sadly I've just read that she is no longer with us. She died in 2012, which is sad. But this book is great and people should read it. Again, I've told my siblings to read this. I've told friends to read it. I've bought it for people for their birthdays. Like, it's a really good little book and I highly recommend it. The next book I don't have with me because my sister currently has my copy, but Sunrise on the Reaping, Suzanne Collins. To be honest, any of her books in the Hunger Games series, I just think are so gripping in a way of like young adult fiction, but also particularly the new book. I could not put that down. I arguably think it could be her best one yet. It's so clever and it's such a good political piece without explicitly being a political piece. Like, you could read it just as a dystopian world, or you could read it with an awareness of like the present day we live in, and I think it's a really clever reflection on that. It's obviously, there are scenes that are hard to read, but I would say this last book probably is the most gory. I think I reread the series this year for the first time since I was like 12, and I enjoyed it just as much as I did when I was 12, which I think is really impressive. I think any kind of young adult author that can write a book that you can enjoy in your teenage years and enjoy in adulthood, I'm 25, so like literally half my life ago, is so impressive, because you've actually appealed to like a larger demographic than just teenagers. But I think her latest book is brilliant. I'm so excited for the film. I can't believe we've got to wait over a year for it. But I think she is such a brilliant author and I love her work. I've always been obsessed with her work. To be honest, I think she's the author that got me into reading. It was then obviously Sarah J Maas that got me back into reading into adulthood, like every single person on the internet, it seems. But you can't hate Sarah J Maas for that. I guess this is like her special mention. I don't think she is a 5-star author. Sorry. I think she is a 3.5 to 4-star author, which is still amazing. And the Throne of Glass series is brilliant. I love that so much. ACOTAR will always have a place in my heart. And I have Crescent City on my bookshelf ready to read at some point this year. But she's not making this shelf, but that's okay. She's like the next shelf below. And that's just as great. Author who I think is my favourite author. I love her writing. Rebecca, I love you. I also have Yellowface. It's on my shelf. I'm currently reading this one. And this series, Devoured. Arguably, I think the middle one was my least favourite in the series, but oh my god, I sobbed on the last page, Burning God, so it was too much. It was just beautiful. I think her writing style is so accessible yet intellectual, and particularly with this one, I love that there's footnotes. I've seen videos online of people hating that, but I love it because I like that. I feel like I'm actually there and I'm learning, and I think it's really clever, although I read it and then at the bottom I see the asterisk and I've like missed where the asterisk is, so I have to then go back and re-find it, but that's like kind of fun, I guess. But I think she is just amazing. I would literally die to see her talk live at some point. That's like a massive wish of mine, but I just think she's great. I think I love how much I'm learning through her books as well. I think she is so articulate and her stories are so impactful. Yeah, I could talk about her all day. I think she's just great and I recommend her to everyone. And the last author who I want to put on the spotlight is this lady, The Women. This book was amazing. It was recommended to me by a girl on my course and I just ordered it straight away. And I think it's so important because, again, it's bringing to light stories of women. Obviously, it is fiction, but it's rooted in a lot of real life. In the back, she tells you about like who she spoke to, but it brings to light a lot of females that were forgotten about in wars where women were essentially told they weren't there when they were and were actually quite important. So that is super important. I like that half of it. So this book is based in the Vietnam War. I should have said that first. But the first bit is based actually in Vietnam, and then the rest is like her being home. And that is insane. There is one scene where she talks to a man. I'm not going to give too much away, but let's just say he asks if she's menstruating, and I literally wanted to scream at this man through the pages, like, oh my god. But yes, I think she's great, and I really want to read her other books. They are on my list for the summer, but I think from the one book I've read of hers, 5-star. I'm impressed. I'm blown away. I think a lot of people should read this, and yeah, highly, highly recommend. So I hope you enjoyed me rambling on about some female authors who I just think are amazing and deserve to be talked about. I don't know, they're probably all really mainstream, and I'm apologising if you feel I've just gone for basic books. I personally don't think they are. Maybe the Suzanne Collins and Sarah J Maas, obviously, but I just think they're really important, and why not keep celebrating amazing female authors? They're great, so keep giving them platforms. And if anyone has any other books in the similar vibe or any other female authors that they want to champion, please comment them below, because I am always looking for new people to listen to read, to learn about. So chuck them down, and thank you for staying along.